We explore deepfake phishing, autonomous malware, ethical challenges, and whether AI can outpace itself. Please welcome our moderator, Sanil Nadkarni, Praveen Kumar M, Ankit Agarwal, and Vishal Kalro to the panel. Please give them a big round of applause.
Thank you. I hope you guys have a good lunch, right? So we are right after the lunch. So I think everybody is kind of in a sloppy pace of mind. So anyways, good. So we are going to talk about, attacker versus how AI would use in defense, right? So we have got wonderful panel here, right? The C-suite folks, and they all are working in some of the other AI space. And we would be talking, I would be asking a lot on AI. So let me give you a quick introduction. I'm Sanil and I'm also representing Future GPT, right? We have a community partner here and we have a large community in AI, future technologies. We've got 5+ chapters and we have got hundreds of, I think around 22,000 members, right? And we run specific events, seminars for students, for a lot of people in Bangalore, Pune, and a lot of other cities. So do check out our website, futuregpt.in. I'm also CISO for Cummins. I was ex-CISO for Byju's. And in AI, I have kind of deep interest in AI. I've got my course also there on Udemy. You can check it out, which is one of the rare courses in AI security and LLM. Writing my book as well on that, Securing Startups, which includes AI. So that's kind of quick introduction. So we have got Vishal, Praveen and Ankit right besides me. So can you guys give quick round of introduction?
Hey, this is Vishal. I'm the CCO. I'm the CISO and DPO at Quantify. And prior to Quantify, I was with Adobe leading their global technology and cybersecurity risk management function. And so the topic that we're going to be discussing on AI, while we have certain things that we will discuss among ourselves and then, share our views. But if you have questions or if you want some practical insights as to what's happening in our world, how we are experiencing, what we are experiencing, happy to hear your questions, your views as well.
Thank you. Yeah, Praveen, over to you.
So this is my second year at VULNCON and we're excited to be here and thanks for the good time as it has been after lunchtime. We have got a good talk to do. So I'm Praveen Motupalli and I work as an advisor consultant for a private MNC and in the cybersecurity space for almost 24 years. And AI is one of the most interesting thing where people like it and people don't like it. So, but here we are there to talk about AI. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ankit Agarwal. I work for a company in Quora as a Vice President of Global Security and Global Architect, being in this industry for almost 25 years. So interesting to see the thoughts here with my colleagues. Thank you.
Great. So that was a wonderful introduction. Okay, so I've got some interesting questions for you folks, right? You guys are working on the AI bit in terms of offensive as well as defensive teams. So the first question to you, Ankit, is how do you train your teams to trust but verify AI, right? So you would be using a lot of AI models in your security space. So how do you ensure that your team is trained on AI? That's number one. And how do you make sure that when they're using tools or tech or using like a public LLM, right? How do you make sure that they trust them? Or what are the controls that you have to make sure that they don't use data and, put it out on the public?
Interestingly, with this evolution of AI in these years, it has become a very niche space, and at the same time, a lot of training is required in terms of not only understanding the tool, but also how the tool works, how it behaves, and what kind of data you can put in. So when it talks about the team, the most important part is you have to understand what kind of data is and what is the data classification that is there in the organization. And you have to classify the data. And the data classification comes with the responsibility as well. So I always ask the team that whenever you want to do something on a tool, you have to understand what kind of tool it is and what kind of data sharing practices it happens and what kind of data you can share with all these LLMs.
Yeah.
But as soon as you lose control of the data you upload anywhere just with a single click, it's a problem. So I always ask my team not to go for the single click, but understand and become a responsible, handle the AI responsibility rather than just blind.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. A quick question to the audience. How many of you are students here? A lot of them. Great. Okay. I would possibly throw some questions around career perspective and how do you use AI in those aspects as well. So coming to you, Praveen, if you have to pick up one area where AI truly adds value in your SOC, what would that be and why?
SOC is one of the, I think, the major components which every company strives on to. How many of you are there working in SOC? Anybody in SOC? Okay. I got tough people to answer. Yeah. So one of the important thing everybody understands, SOC is a very big burnout. So irrespective of whatever age we are going through, SOC is a big burnout. And coming to the positive side of AI can be integrated with SOC where there can be a human collaboration with the AI systems. One of the very important thing where companies are currently working upon this aspect of it. So if you do something which AI completely can handle, it can't be fully. So we need an intervention of human being also. So human collaboration with the SOC team would be one of the very important thing with AI. So
Yeah.
I think heard about a lot of GPTs, right? How many GPTs have you heard about in the market? Can you name them?
Sonnet.
I'm sorry?
The same part.
Sonnet. Okay.
What else?
What else? Which is a famous GPT everybody talks. DeepSeek is there. Okay. Clone. Okay. Gemini, Copilot. Okay. So all of the good GPTs you're talking about. So in the dark web, there are a lot of bad GPTs. So can you name some bad GPTs which are there? I can't say bad because dark web says them as good GPTs. Warm GPT is there. Okay, yeah. XXX GPT, Wolf GPT, Dark Bird GPT. So almost there are 18 GPTs which have been there in the dark web. And these are all weaponized and they are available free of sale. And some are also having the model of subscription also. You can pay and use also. So when all of these are being there, they're all for weaponization of the threats for a lot of companies. So earlier we got the business email compromise, which is there, one of the most happening thing. So just swallow a whale, the C-suite. But now, earlier tactics used to be done in a manual manner. But now in the dark web, there are a lot of tools which are there, the GPTs, which can do the BECs also with free of cost.
Yeah.
Saying all this, just 1 minute, I'll just take.
Sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So saying all these things, how do we ensure that the modern SOC can be utilized onto? So for the threat detection, AIs can be very much used. It will do a lot of scalability. By this, where the data can be much read onto the AI and can be given a good output onto. And also the speed also is very much better in AI, where SOC is enabled with AI, it will be very much helpful.
Yeah.
And apart from it, we also can also see MITRE. Have you heard about the new things about MITRE? What are they doing about AI? Atlas. That's right. Okay. So Atlas in MITRE, one of the biggest thing where the challenges of training also can be also reduced with AI systems. So we can be able to use in this manner.
Great. Thanks a lot. I think that brought on a lot of insight around the offensive aspect of it. Now over to you from a board perspective and management perspective. What are the questions being asked to you from the board and the management around AI today and around AI security?
I mean, that's an obvious question and that's an obvious answer where everyone wants to get onto the AI bandwagon, right? Be it a product team, be it a HR team, be it a finance team, and so is a cybersecurity team. So the first and foremost question is, what are you doing with AI and how are you using AI to bring in operational efficiencies and how are you seeing AI adding value to what you're doing, and how is it going to secure you more? So that is the foremost. So first, while these are the subset of the question, the first crux of the question is, are you using AI? And if not, why? And then once you start doing the due diligence as to, where can you apply AI, then the follow-up question from the board or the executives is, then, what is the value it's adding? What is the ROI that we're getting out of it? Are we getting some cost benefits? That's how it will all lead to, in my mind, when we start adopting AI in the cybersecurity space. It's not only about operational efficiency, it's more about security, more about improvising from where we are today. It's more about cost savings as well. That's what it's going to all lead to.
Thanks a lot. Now, since we have got a lot of students, right, I've tweaked some questions, Ankit. So, so the question would be, so I think since most of these guys are, CXOs, they are hiring their team, right? And now that the AI is also coming up widely in security space specifically, or even in IT space, right? So I would know, right now when you hire somebody, right, are you looking out from a student, are you looking out for any AI security degree or AI degree or something around that sort when you're hiring a security analyst or maybe a fresher or an early start?
Definitely, when you talk about these current trends in hiring, experience in programming like Python and those kind of things, which can give a value addition to understand how the tool set work. So if you see all the entire landscape, every OEM is bringing their own AI. And when you talk about their own AI, somebody has to understand how this is working, how the data correlation is happening. When I talk about my generation, see, I've spent 25 years. Now, in front of you, I'm old.
Still looking
in terms of technology. Now you have AI on phones. When we started with the smartphones in our, this is a lot of changes happened. So when we talk about the new gen hiring, definitely they are all versed with the tools, technologies, they know AI. So programming, definitely it's a plus that we see, and how you can take us to the next level. And when I say the next level, us is the process and how the other thing that I look in the new age hiring is the responsibility and patience. Now things can happen in a flash. Morning I see an idea, and by evening a prototype will be ready. So the patience has to come in this current generation, how the tools work, how you have to understand process. So I always say people, process and technologies, all the things are critical. You understand technology that is well, but you have to equally understand people and processes. And that entire landscape will make the AI responsible.
Good one. Praveen, to you, for students entering in cybersecurity, right, or in AI security, what are the skills which are non-negotiable for next 3 years?
It's a very tough question. I think I am only looking for my skills to update it. Okay, jokes apart. Okay, I want to ask you a question in this room. How many of you don't like AI? Because I get that. Firmly up. Don't be shy. Because your voice out of opinion. Yeah, I could see 2 of them. Okay, thank you for your frankness. Okay, so we have this battle always. There are some people who are also into black sheep. Since they want to ensure that they will not say no to management, I want to say AI is required, but in the heart, AI is not important. Okay, so likewise, AI is one of the very important thing where I would like to tell not the online answers. If you go to the college era, one of the things where we see in the college thing is always we are thought about C++, right? Irrespective of anything. I was always puzzling, like, we got a lot of Visual C++ is there 20 years back, but why come only C is there? But whenever the companies want, they want the skill set of C language where they can take those skills and can train them in the companies for the advanced languages which the company wants to go on to.
Yeah.
So likewise, there is no say why, because we got a lot of brands which are there where they are promoting. I will not say the brand names, but big MNCs are there. They have their own AI projects. Now it's all about government-related things. Some will say, we want to go in this, we want to go into this. But students, I would like to say is that the basic things in AI have to be learned. At least, okay, what are the jargons? It's very much important, point one. Second thing, the language of the language models has also to be learned onto picture. Okay, So these are the few basics, and complement with your already existing skill set, which would be able to help you into learn more of AI on.
Great. Yeah, that makes a lot of
Not name the tools, but I'm just saying this is generic answer.
Great. So another question, Vishal, how do students evaluate if company truly takes AI seriously before joining them? Right? It's the other way around. Is students or maybe an early joiner, right? They are getting into a companies and they want to really work on AI security. How do they evaluate you?
They want to work on it.
They want to work, yeah. So they want to know that whether you are serious about AI security or not. So how do they evaluate that?
Agreed. So one, I want to make it clear, it's going to be all the question I'm answering are personal,
Yeah.
nothing to do with my company. But then, when you talk about AI security, right? It's using AI in defense versus, AI for OffSec or red teaming and all. So it's like attack and defense, both you use AI in cybersecurity. Now, whether company is investing in AI space in cybersecurity, it depends on the leader and the people or the team that you're going to be engaging with, right? So, well, you could say, okay, there's lots to learn from generally what company is doing, how they have been evolving as a company. It's a company culture itself. So if you see the company mindset,
Yeah.
where they started, it's not just one particular team, it's about the overall company, where they started, what are they evolving into? Are they building AI capabilities across the organization? Are their board members or their leaders talking about AI capabilities, how they're bringing in operational efficiency and all? So that's something to start with to understand where this company is going with AI as a mindset. And then obviously, when you interview, I strongly encourage people to ask questions.
Yeah.
We come, say 2 decades ago, or now also sometimes there is a hesitation that, interview means one-way street, where, we are questioned when we go for an interview and we don't ask questions. Make it a two-way street so that you can, analyze and say that, okay, does this fit your, whatever your ambitions are? Is it going to help you grow your career journey? And I'm sure people on the other side will be more than happy to address those questions for you.
Yeah.
And they will be more than happy to tell you what their strategies is. Because honestly, when I interview, I really want to see how people fit into the vision that I am or my team is building. And are they going to be part of that vision? Are they going to be part of that journey? If they are not going to fit in that journey, it's not a win-win situation for both of us. Or if there's something more to add, I'm happy to learn to them as well.
Yeah.
But that's super critical that you be transparent in your discussions. And that's the best way to evaluate.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. So how many of you guys here use AI tools? Most of them, right? And how many of you use at least 4 hours a day? A lot of them, right? Right. So yeah, I mean, people are using. And how many of you use it for your work, as in direct work? Good.
See, one thing I would, want to add, Sanil, that probably talking about the requirements, what is the basic requirements, and when you align yourself to AI adoption, it has to be done in an ethical way. It's not about the responsible AI as a program alone. It's about how you look at the use of AI as well. Where do you see it as a limitation versus where human need to intervene? You need to start thinking in those lines whenever you use your AI for personal productivity or for company productivity. You need to have that ethic mindset. That is super critical.
So to add on that, right, what I also feel is what's happening with the students right now, right? And I've written a post on it. I had got an employee, right, whose English, the grammatical mistakes were huge, right? And then once the AI came, right, he would write a very fluffy English, right? With notwithstanding, blah, 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 all of that, right? So, yaar, 1 saal mein transition, right? For us, it took 10 years, right? A decade to improve from where we were, right? So now suddenly his English has improved, right? But then what happens is when that person will come, when he'll speak to you, you suddenly would not believe this. Is this the same person who is writing, right? So now the problem is that just like, I think, what Ankit said, right? The people of our age, we would know our number of our landlines, but we would not know our number of our own family members, right? Because we have outsourced that intelligence to the phone. similarly to our calculators, right? Like if you go to any kirana, that guy would do the mathematical calculations much faster. So the problem is we are outsourcing our intelligence. So there was another person, young intern, right, who was using damn good with AI, right, when he was on project 1. But when he came to project 2, and right, a lot of BFSI manufacturing plans would not allow you to use AI. His productivity went from 100 to 0. When directly a bullet question will come like a bullet, he will be completely blank because, you have outsourced your intelligence. So I think to your point, Praveen, just like any cricketer or any sports guys are, for first 5-6 years, they focus on bhago 10 kilometer, you exercise, blah, 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 like coding. It really improves our programming skills, our thought process, our intelligence, our IQ, blah, 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 right? All of those aspects of it. So once that is improved to a certain level, then you can use AI just to validate your thoughts. You can't use that for everything, right? Like, otherwise what will happen is, there is no really differentiator and you have outsourced your intelligence. So I think that's what, for students, it's one of the key things which I learned and I observed over the year. So going back, Praveen, one question to you. What are the 3 skills that you see for typical skill when you will hire the new professionals, right? Any 3 skills or 3 tools that you use for offensive and defensive, or any skill that's kind of really, really required for the students too, or students or the new freshers who are joining in, or maybe even for an experienced folks, you think it is important?
Okay, I think when we go more into AI, it's all about finding what is genuine, what is not genuine.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where the equation comes into picture. Okay, and how many of you heard about metaverse? Is it there or not there? Somewhere. Okay, so I heard recently in a Gartner report mentioning that metaverse is going for a silent sunset. Not sure, but don't record me. But there are big players who are there. Okay, it's happening on too. So metaverse one thing. And how many of you know what is the next after AI? Quantum, okay, but not quantum is also there, but in line with AI. AGI, can you expand that? Agentic, okay. But the big thing can happen is about OI. Heard about OI? It's about organoid intelligence, organoid. Okay, OI is the next big thing. So what I meant to say is that with metaverse or with AI or OI coming into picture, so things can change. But in the era of AI, the biggest thing which is there is the skills which are there. The main thing is the human resource security also has to be increased in the company.
Yeah.
Where we need to ensure the human resource teams are upskilled into understanding. Why? Because in the COVID times, we have seen about videos, right, where people are on the video, but they are on the other screen getting ChatGPT or something to answer, and they're answering.
Yeah.
Okay, these are all dangerous things. There are also people who are mimicking other people. After the interview is over, we find out that the person whom we interviewed is not the right person. Can't say about marriages, but at least in the interview, this is happening over there. Okay, so we need to be very much careful on to. So I believe that one of the biggest thing is that upskill the internal human resources team, where this skill set regarding this has been very much quantified, and the candidate should come with a lot of human values and human integrity is one of the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, one of the biggest attribute I would like to mention. And second thing I would like to mention also is about patience. Why? Because when you go for team building, especially in SOC teams and all, they know the burnout. So if you don't have patience, we can kill each other. Okay. And by the way, what is the attention span of human being nowadays? How much time is attention span? 30 seconds, 10 seconds. Thanks to TikTok. After that, we got our Instagram Reels. And then there was a case also in US, right, on Meta, where 13 states have put a case on Meta about unlimited scrolling, which has gone on to. So what I mentioned is that if you spend more time, students spend more time on the devices, they will not be patient. They want everything on the fly. We have seen cases where also Gardner has mentioned, also some reports have mentioned, the Gen X is not staying in the company in the roles for longer time. So they want to walk out if something doesn't suit them. Why it's happening? Why? Because more of digitalization. So the main thing is also about patience,
Yeah.
what I would like to mention about. And the third thing is that technically, whichever domain you choose, so ensure that you be strong into that, but ensure that don't use the AI tools to answer everything, because there are also systems in the companies where they can also filter that. Okay, what is
Yeah.
that tool which is there in the employment resume site? It is ATS. So likewise, ATS also, human intelligence also is coming into picture where they can find out whether it's genuine or not.
Yeah, absolutely. So I open the floor for some questions. Meanwhile, I have some questions for me, but then anybody else has any questions? Yeah.
So now in this AI world, how any product development company ensure that their code is not getting released in the AI somewhere? Because in a year back, Samsung also has found that their code is available publicly. So his employee has used his code, put it in the chat GPT and did something.
Yeah.
Now that code is available.
So you don't want to take that up?
So I can
Yeah.
pick that up. So it's a common thing, honestly speaking, where, it all depends upon what kind of pricing or the plan that you take for the ChatGPT. For example, ChatGPT or Gemini, if you have taken the premium subscription or something like that, and if you still use that for your coding purposes, I believe it's still secured and it will not be shared with the broader, or it will not be used for learning purposes. But then, we have a habit where we just take our code as is, the free trial version, whatever that is, we just paste the code. And that's how it gets public. Then again, the integrations, the GitLab, source code repositories, when they get integrated with these AI capabilities and all, we don't realize what's really happening on the back end. And that's where the leakage happens.
I just add it.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So when you asked the question about this, my bells rang when I worked in the banking companies. So there was a classic case of Goldman Sachs suing an employee. Employees taken the investment modules outside and done the entire trading and all. So these are there, but now I believe with the complete strengthening in the companies, with a lot of compliance teams and privacy teams and security teams, this can also be a good way where they can strengthen how they can combat this theft which is happening. And
Yeah.
also the last part also is that also the legal teams are also very much getting beefed up into now. How do you handle about the AI crimes?
Yeah. So I think, if you ask me, some of these things are, you can do CASB, you can have a DLP program in place, you can train your developers, you can put a lot of guardrails. There's a concept of guardrails. You can check guardrails.ai also. So basically we need to be, as somebody said, right, we need to be responsible as well, right? There is certain element of trust given. Now when you're using ChatGPT, the open ones, there is a very high potential that you're leaking it out. Now, how do you balance out to make sure that the companies still use AI, but not to leak code? You can have your own private LLMs. You can host it on Azure. There are many other ways through which you can use AI, but not to really leak code. But those traditional way of securing the code still remains relevant, right? Cool. Anybody else? Yeah. What's your name? Kalay, right? Yeah, Kalay has a good question, right? So he's saying that post AI and pre-AI world, have you changed any scoring? Also, I would like to just add one more to what he said, is that how do you look at post AI and pre-AI world in terms of resourcing as well? Right? Like, are you increasing resources, decreasing resources, using AI, right? So what's that piece also? Yeah.
That's where still the relevance of cybersecurity is there. So, and you also ask about how the organization is doing. So, cybersecurity is going in ever evolving phase. So, previously, cybersecurity was maybe related to some pen tests, for example, the regular pen test and everything. Now, if you have heard about the Zero Trust Framework model, it is still relevant. Now, that model is evolving, not only include that, along with the AI components also. Like, I give you an example. I come from a digital engineering company. We have 10,000 headcount. We use GitHub Copilots and everything. So one thing what we have done is past 4 years is adoption. So one thing we do is we block all the uploads of code to GitHub, any public repo. No, we don't do it. Similarly, now what we are doing is we are trying to add on security level where whatever the prompts developer is using in any of the public internet AI tools, that will be monitored and that will be tagged. So we are already in the POC stage. So it's like how your business objectives are changing. At the same time, you have to align with your business and use AI as an assistant in the cybersecurity to adopt. See, gone are the days, I believe, that a single agent can work. You have to constantly keep on adding on. And when you talk about the risk score, see, every OEM provides a typical risk score. You go to different tools, everybody provides, but your basic should be same. For example, your patching cadence should be there. When you are creating you are creating more agentic framework, and the basic concepts of creating the infrastructure on AI, that should remain valid. Nobody should be allowed to deviate from that. If you don't, then you will see your score remains constant. Whatever the benchmark you there, you will see that your organization is at that level.
But just to add on the resourcing side, since AI is coming up, right? How is the overall feel from a management perspective on the resourcing stuff? So pre-AI, post-AI.
See, past 3 years, I give one example. We have, I think 4 years, we have tripled. But our IT workforce remains same.
Okay, so
And every year there is a target to reduce also. And that is because we are become more AI agnostic, more automations and everything.
efficient.
That's why. So IT has to be smarter. Cybersecurity has to be smarter.
So now taking that question to you, when he says, right, I think that's a typical for everybody, right? That now that AI is kind of a book quiz, right? It's there everywhere. And the expectation is with AI brings superhuman power and efficiency. So, now how do you tackle, right, that the management would believe that you would be bringing in a lot of efficiency? So what's your take on that?
I mean, AI is definitely a technology that has to be leveraged for efficiencies, for scalability, better insights, more precise insights, reducing the fatigue from the human so that we could repurpose our time for something more strategic, something more better. That's how I look at it. And in one line about, AI and humans, I said they need to augment our human workforce. Obviously, there will be disruption. There will be up and downs where human workforce might be have to be reduced to, repurpose them for something else. But it's an augmentation. That's how I look at it. Now, when it comes to management perspective, it depends. So as a CISO, I am also part of the management. If you ask me, I'll value security and operational efficiency over everything else. But then if I'm talking to a CFO, he would talk numbers, right? He will say, okay, what is the benefit you're showing? How much have you cut down on the man hours or the time that you spent or your workforce? Or how much you have repurposed your workforce for something else? So that's how it depends from the leader that you're talking to, how they see the ROI in the AI investment. That's how I'm looking at it.
Got it. Yeah. I think somebody had a question there.
In your perspective, how do you think we need to kind of build a better defense system for AI-powered threats?
I will not say that it's not possible. I could still say that with a stone also we can kill a person now, or even a bomb. It all depends on the strategy, how it is. As you've seen about the recent things happened which in Russia and Ukraine, how they have fooled the systems of Russia and they were able to blast their fighters. And last 2 days back, how Israel has been able to enter the entire space of Iran. That again talks about reconnaissance, how they are able to do that. So likewise, I believe as cybersecurity professionals, especially in the SOC, you got a lot of knowledge which is there. So translate it back onto the human understanding and make your AI systems talk. But the problem happens when we depend wholly on AI. So we leave to some vendor and say that, hey, look, make some tool for me and it should combat everything. It's not possible. That's why I'm saying that there has to be the human intelligence component of the teams, and every company has got its own teams. And then those teams know about their own threats, what they are happening. So depending on that, they have to weaponize that and attack the enemy. So it is possible in that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
This will be there. Actually, there is no say that because our jobs are there because of that. Okay, because of the main thing. Okay. So we are there to mentor that. Yeah, I'm just saying to you. Also, the stalls outside also are there where they're trying to give solutions. Okay. As long as these are there, we are there to do that.
Yeah.
But as per me, I think it is possible. We are able to combat that. If I say that I'm not able to, then I should walk out from this.
See, one more thing to remember, whatever things you are talking about, the attacks or whatever those attacks are, be it phishing, they are getting better, they are getting smarter. Be it SQL injection, cross-site scripting, fundamentals remain the same. That's where the intelligence of detecting, protecting at a different layer, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, is super critical. So when you strategize your SOC or your cybersecurity strategy, that's how you have to, peel the onion. Where's your layer 1? What are they going to look for? What is layer 2 going to look for? And yes, honestly, there will be learning coming up. When you learn something about a sophisticated attack, how it exploited, what it exploited, there's a learning in which you build on that learning. So it's always going to be that element as well. But in my opinion, fundamentals have to be right, and you have to start from the fundamentals.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yes, somebody had a question. Yeah, go ahead.
With AI coming in, the offensive has sort of kind of got a boost. Today, you just give a prompt, give a acme.com/user/ID equal to 1. ChatGPT will literally give you the whole checklist with a reporting format, right? So, I really don't want it theoretical, but any use case or anything that you guys have observed where AI or a tool where AI has actually helped us advance in defensive side.
I think especially on the SOAR side, right? Especially on threat intelligence, AI, we are using threat. So I'll tell you one more thing. See, most of the companies, I think taking back to Praveen, your point, right? A lot of companies are buying products. Now, let's say you're buying SentinelOne or you're buying Microsoft, whatever, XYZ. We are not engineering that product. So to go back to his point, what we do is we are relying upon them to bring in that AI capability in that tool. For example, if I have, let's say, Splunk. Now, I'm not going to engineer AI in Splunk, right? I would be using that particular product and using the AI capability of that particular tool. And that's how they are also catching up the game. Because if they want to be relevant in the game, they would do so. Now, whether if it's phishing, you will have Proofpoint or any other Microsoft, they are upping their game. The reason also is that, it's very difficult for a startup to do it because they don't have the data, right? Splunk will have huge amount of data. Cisco would have the data of their customers, or Google have Chronicle. So they have the data. With that data, they're pumping in LLMs or AI to bring in that much of intelligence. Yeah, Praveen, you want to say? Yeah, so I think that's how. Yeah, Ankit, you want to add?
What AI is benefited is in the user behavior analysis, which was missing, I think, couple of years back. So it's like in a company when somebody joins or anywhere, you create a user profiling, and the AI has helped in creating the digital user profiling. How the user is working in a company, how frequently the network is changing, for example, how frequently user is accessing user VPN. So the AI has the ability to correlate that kind of data that has really helped and elevated that posture. So now we are not talking about the security posture of our organization. We are talking about the posture of an endpoint, the risk scoring of a user, risk scoring of the endpoint. Now we have seen a scenarios that when you use the SOC, we have identified the user who are using the VPNs, the private VPNs on their mobile phones, and our SOC has generated alert that somebody is using a VPN. We have coordinated, yes, we have used. So the location change is triggering. So that UEBA has really helped a lot in elevating all these things.
So the product itself, now let's say if a human was triaging or looking at the alerts, now AI would do it much faster. Now that AI capability will be brought by that OEM. Similarly, if it's phishing, now to analyze the crafted phishing mails or metadata, all of that, let's say a Microsoft phishing or Proofpoint or any other IronScale, XYZ, those teams are also now bringing in the AI element in that space to be able to combat with any kind of offensive AI as well. So defensive is also coming up, but one of the key challenge always for defensive is budgets, right? तो OEM लाके बोलेगा यार ये AI स्पेस है, इसके लिए और $X डालो immediately. That it's like police, and you see in the movies, right? The defensive guys will always be constrained with budget, while AI has free tools to use. उसको सिर्फ एक laptop चाहिए and he'll craft alerts at you, right? So that's always a challenge.
I know, consider the cost when you're spending on the tools. Consider the cost
Yeah.
of reputation damage. Any security incident an organization has, it clears out, wipes out the entire company. I think last week we have seen Kirana, some startup, some employee, some agreement happens and entire AWS data is wiped out. So, it's all responsibility plus the investment, how it's going. So investment over security and cybersec is negligible when you talk about these incidents.
Great. So we are up on time. So thanks a lot, Ankit, Vishal, Praveen sir, for coming in, gracing this occasion and helping us with. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.